Hey everybody, Pastor Jim here from the Indian Lake Community Church and the Lighthouse of Indian Lake on Tuesday, June the 2nd, to share some thoughts with you. We are here in the height of allergy season. Hopefully I can get through this. Every time I try to do this, I just start sneezing and I have to start all over again. But I am in my office here at the church building, and I am overlooking beautiful downtown Russell's Point. From here, I have an unabated view of both the Marathon Station and the Huntington Bank Building, which is spectacular. If you've never seen the Huntington Bank Building lit up at night, you should make the trip. It's well worth it. Stunning at night. And so those are just things I love about being in my church office, high above downtown Russell's Point. But also, being in this church office is special to me because I'm surrounded by things that people have given me over the years that are very valuable to me. Not valuable in the sense of they're worth a lot of money, but valuable in the sense that they were given to me in a spirit of love and friendship. And I look around this office and there are just tons of little mementos and things that people have given me. Many of them are bacon related, many of them are not. And so sometimes I just like to look around and reflect and think on some of the things that I have here. For instance, on this wall, I have a framed print of George Washington, the Prayer at Valley Forge, one of my favorites that my wife gave me for Christmas some years ago. I have a couple of really, really ugly chairs I'll show you someday in orange and green that came from my wife's grandmother's house. Long story behind that. Then over here I have a bookcase that was my grandfather, Grandpa Ellington's, and it holds some of his books, so that's important to me. The Bible that sits on top of it was a gift from a member who has since passed. And over my left shoulder, you'll see a pencil drawing of my dog Hope, a German Shepherd, who is, of course, the best dog ever. And my son's fiance, Hannah, drew that for me, and it's a beautiful drawing. Except when I look at it from my desk, she has this kind of soulful look, and she's like, when are you coming home? And so I avoid eye contact with it if I can. But over my shoulder here is a quilt that is held in a frame that my wife's step-grandfather made for us years and years ago. And the quilt was actually made by my wife's mother, my mother-in-law. And so she made me this quilt specifically to hang in this office when this office was done. And it's about Jesus and the Beatitudes. It contains all of the Beatitudes. And I was thinking this morning about all the calls for change in our society and all the calls that we achieve equality in race and different circumstances, and how powerful and important that call is, and not to be ignored. And I started thinking about that along with the Christian ethic of who we are called to be, who Jesus calls us to be, and how this striving for equality in all peoples fits into that dialogue so well. And it took me back to the Beatitudes of Jesus. And those are found in the 5th chapter of Matthew. And beginning in verse 3, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the sons of God. And blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." And I did a sermon series a while back about the Beatitudes and the idea that you substitute in, instead of blessed are happy. Happy are those who are poor in spirit. Happy are those who mourn. Happy are those who are meek. Happy are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. And there's different thoughts about the Beatitudes, if it was a teaching in one sitting or a combination of different sermons. But one of the things that a lot of people agree on is that this is who we're called to be. This is the epitome of Christianity and living Christ-like and representing Christ in this world. But a lot of people also believe that this bar is too high, that we can't achieve this in this world. If you break it down piece by piece and live by each one of these Beatitudes, it's a tall order. And can we achieve it in this world? Well, the answer is no, by ourselves or on our own. The only way we can come close to or hope to try to achieve this kind of life is through the acceptance and the work of the Holy Spirit in us, and not us working on ourselves. If I had to sum up the Beatitudes and how it relates to our current situation, it would be in this way. The Beatitudes are not a call for us to think less of ourselves, because we are children of God. We are loved and valued just as much as anybody else. So it's not that we think less of ourselves, but rather it's that we think of ourselves less. We stop placing a priority on ourselves. We stop placing so much importance on ourselves, our dignity, our wants, our desires, our rights, and these things. And we begin to look outside of ourselves and to look at others and where they fit into the grand scheme and scope of this world around us. And when we stop thinking of ourselves less and start thinking of others more, we start down the path to living out the Beatitudes as Jesus has called us to live. When we start down that path where we think of others more than we think of ourselves, we start down that path where the rights and privileges of other people are just as important as the rights and privileges that we have ourselves. When we start to think of ourselves as a whole and not just as a small piece of a bigger puzzle, but we start to see ourselves and where we fit in the world around us, then we can make a powerful change, and then we can make a difference. That's my challenge this week, not just for myself, but hopefully for you that you'll join me. The goal is, in all of this, to reflect on who we are and to reflect on how we fit into this world. Not in this world in the sense of this world, but in this world in the sense of who Jesus calls us to be. Our challenge is to live, no matter what our race, no matter what our nationality, no matter what our occupation, or whatever our financial standing, our power, our influence, or anything else. This world can be what we want it to be. This world can be what Christ calls it to be if we simply start the process of thinking of ourselves less and others more, because that's the way that Christ calls us to live. Anyways, take care. God bless. Hope to see you soon.